Greetings and salutations. How's everybody doing today? It's your humble correspondent and partner in crime, David Duford. Thank you so much for being on my monthly live Q&A for insurance sales agents, where I answer all of your questions related to selling any kind of insurance. If you are an aspiring agent, a new agent, or an experienced agent who has questions about anything related to selling insurance, marketing for insurance, and looking to get into this business and see some success out of it, this stream is for you. I take the next hour to answer your questions live in the chat and to basically help you get closer to your optimal in the insurance sales world. So here's kind of how we organize and go through the process of doing this training. First of all, after this little introduction I just gave, we have a new segment, of course, a much resounding and enjoyable section called Comments from the Haters. We're going to spend a little time before we get into your questions talking about the stack of hate mail that I receive. Hard to believe, I know, from people around the world, apparently, that don't like what I do. So it's like a little therapy session. Lets me vent a little bit and get a good laugh at my expense. So I hope you enjoy it. We're going to start that in a second. And then after that, we're going to spend the rest of the time, approximately about an hour, answering whatever questions that you have about selling insurance. I have my chat open here to the right. Hello, everybody. Thomas, Luis, Mark, Walter, John, Anthony, John, Joyce, Christina, Gary, 123N4M. Thank you so much for being here, and the rest of you that are watching this on recording. I really appreciate your time. Before we go any further, I've had a great resounding success in my career, and you guys have been a huge part of it, supporting my content, promoting it to your friends and family and other fellow agents in the business, and I'm so appreciative of it. I hope you take that sincerely. It's been a great ride, and I thank you guys so much for your loyalty and viewership. So let's start off with the fun stuff. Let's start off with comments from the haters. Again, I started doing this in February because I got this like slew of hate mail. I've been doing this forever, not really gotten that much in the way of rude or disrespectful or just obstinate responses. And all of a sudden, somehow this year, I guess 2020 pissed everybody off. They're taking it out on me. So I started getting all this hate mail and talked about it last time. Pretty good funny stuff. And I figured we go ahead and continue the process because the hate mail keeps coming in. So we're going to go ahead and start from the top. Some of this is I wouldn't say necessarily hate, but it's thought-provoking, possibly a little jab here and there to yours truly. Either way, I'm sure you'll get a good laugh out of it. So what I'm going to do is kind of tell you where this appeared on different videos or comments on my website. Sometimes people send me messages and then kind of give you some commentary on it if it is worth seeing. It's, hey Vivek, this is live. Hey Vivek. It will be recorded. And you're already watching this if it's a recording, so you already know that. So I got a comment here from, and I leave the names out just because, I'm gracious like that. On my AIL review, I do a lot of videos reviewing the competition, I guess you could say. And I try to be as supportive as I can about what the other guys do who are bigger and have more agents. And more importantly, what I try to do is give you guys kind of the scoop behind the deal, let you guys know what to expect, And sometimes I get pushback from people who are a part of these organizations. And it always makes me laugh because people say things like, well, you can't trust a guy who's never worked for an organization. Why would you take advice or perspective from me? I've never worked for American Income Life or some of these other companies, but it's silly. It's just like, well, I have sold insurance for like 10 years and built an agency for the last 7. Certainly I must have some perspective. So that whole argument's kind of moot to me. So this comment's kind of funny. I don't know exactly what he's trying to say here. I'd blow this video. Maybe I'd blow it up. I don't know. It's pure BS through and through. Go to videos of people who did work this MLM. At least he's honest. MLM, right? Again, look, if anybody has perspective on how an MLM insurance agency works, it's this guy right here. I've talked to thousands of agents. I know exactly how this stuff works. And I can tell you this, guys, probably the last place that you want an unbiased approach from an MLM is from the person serving you the Kool-Aid, right? So, not to say that all the AIL guys are full of it. I'm sure there's some pretty good people there. In fact, there's been some excellent agents that have come out of AIL I've recruited that have gone on to work for other organizations. They do a great job recruiting and training people, in my opinion. Although they aren't the best, in my opinion. But that's my opinion. But you get what I'm saying. So, let's keep going on here. I got a text message. You guys ever like, so I have this website. I generate organic leads online. And we send out auto texts when somebody calls just to let them know that we'll call them back. We're busy. And the person called me to, you know, inquire about some insurance, I suppose. Why would you call my insurance agency or my website number because of that? And she texted me back and she says, "Shut ol." I assume that means P, but she couldn't get her finger to the P. "Shut up, I don't know you. I will kill you and send my boyfriend after you." So she'll kill me first and then send the boyfriend after me. Okay, I'm very concerned. I got this one from some random video. Stop any DeFord video in any random frame and it looks like he's farting. Now, just to say, that's true for any video. Go ahead and pause it. You get these weird faces. All I can say is, good thing you just see what it looks like as opposed to being with me when it actually is. Okay, insurance MLM video. This is one of a comment that common comment from people who get all flustered when somebody who doesn't work with them but works in the industry has something to say about the Kool-Aid drinking tactics of competing MLMs. This person says, "I don't know what to think of this to bash another organization." I think this is from the video Kyle and I did talking about insurance MLMs. "I don't know anyone would call anyone an ignorant salesperson to be positive and a real leader." See, that's a problem. People don't understand English and they don't understand the definition of words. It's okay to be ignorant, all right? Ignorant's not pejorative. Ignorant means you don't know. If I said you were stupid, well, that's different. Maybe that's true. But to be ignorant it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's what you do after you're not ignorant anymore that I think matters. So being ignorant is just a state of mind of unawareness, right? So let's just kind of, words matter in their definition. Real leaders bring people up and encourage others to work hard and sell. Of course I do. I just don't think that agents should be doing it at rip-off commission levels, working crap leads, drinking the Kool-Aid of these cults. I despise this YouTube because David tries to bring others' organization down so he looks good and criticize others. Okay. I'm not really, I recruit agents and yeah, I'm interested in doing that. But on some level, I'm actually concerned with the business as a whole, even if you don't work with me. I don't want you to join an organization where, because you were unaware of what you're walking into, you could be shortchanged beyond what this person claims you would be. And the problem is, educating and showing people a different way to look at things, it puts this whole cult structure at risk. And they don't like it. That's why they lash out like this, because it's against the grain of the indoctrination they've been given all these years. Negative people like me, I lost all respect for. So, I'm such a negative person. I hate this business. I hate people, as evidenced by my work. HR Pro Act. So, did you guys see that video where we had the lobbyist on for insurance agents? The House passed a bill threatening the potential of changing how insurance agents are recognized from a tax law perspective, from independent contractors to W-2 employees. There's a lot of worry about this. I'm going to be releasing a video in the next couple of days about, I've got a template letter that this particular agent's advocacy group put together, so you guys can take it, template it, send it to your senators, because right now it's in the Senate. And it's all, I'm not really worried about it. I've been getting a lot of questions about it. I don't think anything's going to come from it. I actually think, and this isn't a political show, But at the end of the day, the PRO Act is about workers' rights. That's what kind of the headline is. That's what the bumper sticker is. And it passed across party lines, Democrats for, Republicans against. And it's just a stupid piece of legislation. It's not thought out. It was just passed, and I think it more or less, it was just passed to get them on the record that they support workers' rights. No attention to who it screws if it, actually went through. And so what the Senate's going to do essentially is going to parse it down, I think, actually listen to reason, because I know there's a lot of you out there who are left, a lot of you who are right or whatever, and how you retain your business in the insurance business, it's a bipartisan thing. If there's anything we all agree on is, I think changing this business from an independent contractor relationship with brokerage opportunities to a W-2 position upends the entirety of it. And it doesn't do you any good as an agent from your business model standpoint, how you buy leads, expensing, running your business, and it certainly potentially damages the consumer. And so I think in the long run, I don't think this is going to be any problem for us. There's a lot of other businesses, not just us, that are potentially affected by this. So I wouldn't lose sleep over this, guys. But if I were in a left-leaning state, or if I had senators who were Democrats, I would absolutely send in, this template that I'm going to release out, and make sure your representatives know that this bill is BS for insurance agents. So anyway, I had somebody say, your tears are delicious, LOL. You insurance guys are going to need to learn to code pretty soon. Good luck, vampires. Again, it's kind of like the lawyer stuff, right? Everybody hates lawyers until you need one. And anybody who's ever had a lawyer in a time of stress and issues and problems, contract deliberations, a hit and run issue, lawyers are good people when they're needed. They're, defamed, and they've got good reason to be. And I'm sure there's insurance agents that give us a bad name, but don't worry about people who think that way. This is the kind of person, and for 40 years he'll be buying a final expense plan from us. So, okay, another one on the pyramid scheme. I like this snark comment. Hi, I found a pyramid scheme. Can you look into it? It's called direct selling. Direct selling. It's kind of funny. I don't think, here's the thing, guys. If you're looking at this business, it's completely obvious, we've obviously made fun of it already so far, that this business is rank with an Amway multi-level marketing type of culture. A lot of the big organizations out there, what do? They mass recruit, they tell the agent that there's this incredible sales opportunity, they show them all the exotic cars, vacations, planes, but they don't tell them about if their commissions are fair, or what the consequences are of joining an organization. They come into this business in most cases through referrals, and you generally trust the person who's referring you in, and you don't do due diligence. Like, you guys watching this are like probably 5% or less of the population that is like thinking, like, wait a minute, maybe I should check this thing out before I jump in. Or maybe you've experienced exactly what I'm talking about, so you just have the experience. And the thing is, it's not direct selling that's a problem. There's a ton of direct selling business models that work just great. I think insurance is one of them, if it is constructed correctly. Again, the problem is really at the advent of Primerica, A.L. Williams, there was a tremendous push to bring in the same kind of culture like one would find with Amway or Herbalife. Not to say that any of that's wrong or illegal, but this push to just mass recruit, which would held an equivalent to the skill development. And what's happened is a lot of people have come into the business, and that's good in a sense, but so many leave the business because what agents realize when they get into this business, it's all about training, it's all about support, it's about having a direction to go and a track to run on. That's not built around bothering your friends and family to recruit them, okay? Because if you bring on people and you're brand new to this business and you have no business what you're doing, you're fraud. You don't have street cred. Why would anybody that wants to be good in this business trust somebody who has no experience firsthand selling the product? Doesn't make sense, okay? And that's the problem in this business, more than anything else. And again, I try to run my agency unique from that, where we focus not on recruiting, but on personal production, developing the agent, teaching them a skill that will pay the bills forever, and developing firsthand knowledge in the trenches. And from there, if an agent wants to train and build an agency with me, we're cool with that. But you got to know what you're doing first, right? And that's the problem I think people really should have with this business. Seeing the questions come in. Hey, everybody. Thanks for being here, guys. I'll get to the questions here in a minute. Fail or quit video. I did a video a year ago. I surveyed my audience on why they failed the business. And if you're curious, the biggest reason people fail and quit selling insurance, at least for the audience that I surveyed, the biggest reason is they picked the wrong insurance agency. Thus why I've gone over the MLM cookie cutter Kool-Aid drinking stuff. The second biggest reason is they ran out of money. Okay, so cash is king. That's a big thing. People get into this business, they're not told the truth about what's expected financially if you're going to run this like a business where you pay your leads. So a lot of people run out of money. And I think the third biggest reason is the business wasn't for them, which was surprising. I thought I'd see more people who said, the business wasn't for me. Well, it actually turned out that apparently, by implication, they liked the business, but wrong agency, bad setup, and not enough cash flow to sustain themselves. So this agent said they leave because they know that the insurance companies are greedy and dishonest group people. Yeah, I guess. So, not much to say about that. This is kind of an interesting one. I don't know if it's so much of a criticism, but I wanted to contemplate this on camera because it's a really good question. So this one I think was an MLM one. Do you ever feel guilty, personally me, for selling dreams to people for your own benefit? No, I mean, not really. Because I think what I try to accomplish with my business, and I'm speaking just for what I do, I try to, my operandus, modi operandus, my prime directive doing this is to let people know what really is behind the curtain in insurance sales. That what they're shown in most circumstances is not actually what it appears to be. That yes, this business is very lucrative, but there's so many landmines and pitfalls and issues that agents just don't know about it. And I spend an inordinate amount of time on my videos before I pitch myself or what I do, talking about ways to help people without any expectation in turn. And I've always tried to, my strategy, and this would be, I think, advice for anybody who want to build an agency, I always wanted to give first before receiving. I felt like from just a perennial, biblical, spiritual principle that was universal. And that if I give, I'll receive. It's not algorithmic, it won't happen immediately, but it'll happen later. And I felt like that's happened in my life. And so I try to taper any sort of like pitch that I give to anybody on camera or talking individually with like the straight talk. Hopefully that still comes through. I hope I'm not, if I am, please let me know. If I'm coming off like Mr. Pitchman, like I'm Billy Mays selling you the insurance dream, like I need to hold up, you know? I like to give the bad side as well as the good side. Because all you get otherwise is just the good. And the truth is, if you sell insurance, you're changing your career. You're making a decision that may cost you from other opportunities that would present themselves. And your people who work with me are trusting me to take them through their careers. I take it extremely seriously. And I don't want people to get into this business working for me or even in this business working for somebody else under false pretenses, because that's just such the commonality, okay? So I don't feel guilty when, you know, I'm trying to run a business, you know, too. I mean, on the flip side, yeah, I recruit agents, I make an override. We're in a, you know, a civilization, you know, where you share something and you get a return off of it. It's kind of capitalism. It's America. I don't feel, you know, guilty for being American, I guess. I feel like my proposition's pretty fair, but there's nothing wrong with winning or getting a profit from helping people. That's what makes at least our economy go around, you know? So, you know, again, if I ever sound like I'm overselling this stuff, God, let me know. Because I tried my best to incorporate some straight talk into this. Okay, funny, hey guys, what's going on? Thanks for being here. I'll get to your questions again in a minute. Two more questions. I think I saved the best for last. So, you guys, some of you guys know me as El Jefe. Clearly, you can tell my, you know, avatar would be El Jefe, of course. And I got I got an email. You know, I market courses, I sell courses. We were promoting our Medicare course recently. And I got an email from a Spanish-speaking friend. And I think I know what this means, translating it. It says something like, you're the best and your products are all amazing. Let me see if I can see if you Spanish speakers out there, tell me if my accent is good. And then translate for this for me, so I understand that clearly these people are very enthused by my product. Pinche loco peligroso. I don't need your bullshit course. I've been selling Medicaid for 12 years and trained dozens to do the same. Pinadeo. Pendeo. I obviously that's a comment, a positive comment, I'm sure. Okay, and the last one, the one that went straight to my heart, the worst of the worst. Jesus, this is from Sell FE Broke, a recent one. Jesus Christ, are you eating the insurance policy? You look like you're gaining some weight, buddy. I look exactly the same. But there's more to love, right, honey? She didn't respond. And that's comments from the haters. So now let's transition over to comments from the lovers, my wonderful audience, who has now posted plenty of questions, which I'll do my best to get to. So let's go on over to the questions. All right. So guys, I gotta start right at the beginning because there's a lot of questions. And I took 20 minutes to have my psychiatrist or psychiatry session there to deload. Okay, John Rand. Hey, John, thanks for being here. Do you recommend starting an LLC or should I wait just to get started selling? Yeah, I look at the whole getting corporately contracted as a distraction in the beginning. It adds more complexity to getting started. You can always incorporate later. I'm not your lawyer, I'm not your accountant, so I'm just some random guy on YouTube. Trust my advice for what it's worth, very little. But I didn't do it until 2 to 3 years later when I started making some significant income. And but to me, it's just my goal, at least for my agents I recruit, is I want them selling as quickly as possible. I want this thing that you're going to do as an idea. It works for many. But it also, we don't know if it's going to work for you. We hope so. We're going to train you to be as prepared as possible. We want the quickest path from A to Z, from getting contracted to selling. We want as little obstacles in the way. And the incorporation process seems to be, for most agents, an obstacle because you got to get it incorporated. You got to get it licensed. You got to change it. That adds time and delay before you're appointed. I'd rather just get you out there and start to sell. If you start doing really well, pretty quickly, which most people get this business in the first week or two or never get it, then worry about getting incorporated, investing all that money, taking all that time. That would be my advice, John. Good question. Hey, Joyce, is there a minimum age for applicants for final expense carriers? The age stated for final expense seems to be age 50 plus. So, Joyce, no, there's carriers. Liberty Bankers starts at 18, goes to 80. I think American Memorial starts at 0 all the way up to 85. It just depends on the carriers, but the vast majority of your final expense business is going to be 50 to 80, okay? So it just depends on the carriers, but, excuse me, most of the time you're just going to be writing business that is that, 50 to 80 range, if that makes sense. Okay, it's fun to poke the bear, it sure is. What are the new insurance products for 2020? What are the hot, I would say, so, good question. The hot selling products for 2021, I would say, geez, exactly what I'm selling. Of course, right? No, but it's interesting. The whole outcome of this government enforced lockdown and all of this in the media to convince people that coronavirus is going to take their lives has inculcated or created this paranoia about dying and this top-of-mind awareness, if I were to say it nicely, about dying. And when people think about dying, some of them think about preparing to die financially. And I had the best year last year in the final expense business. It has gone through the roof. So to me, in the market, pretty much 50-year-olds and older with existing health issues, guess what, are the ones who are most susceptible to, issues with the disease. So it's been fantastic for us. Anything virtual there's been a big push just as to an adaptation to what's going on in the environment. Although face-to-face is working great for final expense. Also telesales is too. Medicare has been great for us too. The nice thing with Medicare is that Medicare is a product that even when economies go bad or pandemics happen, there's not a single senior that says, well, I'm going to have to get rid of my Medicare supplement or my Medicare Advantage plan because this pandemic's bad. I need to save some money. Not really. If anything, you want to have the best health care, right? So Medicare hasn't changed at all, and it's just going to continue to grow. And everything in the senior market as a whole, final expense, Medicare, annuities, any products sold to seniors in insurance or outside of insurance to this baby boomer demographic that's retiring is hot. And it's going to be for the next 10 to 20 years. Again, high level stats here. 10 to 11,000 seniors turn 65 every single day for the next 10 years. And the population over 65 is going to increase by 50% from basically 2020 to 2040. And the average insurance agent is 59 years old. They're going to be retiring, getting sick, not working as much. If you're a younger agent like me and you're getting into this business, you're at the front of a big trend. So anything I think in the senior business is rock solid. All right, good question. What are my favorite final expense carriers? In a nutshell, Matt, I like, it depends, face-to-face, I like Prosperity, Trinity Family Benefit. I like Foresters, Guaranteed Trust, AIG, Great Western. For telesales, Royal Neighbors, Prosperity, Aetna, Ascendo's okay, and then Guaranteed Trust and Great Western. Those are my favorite. We've used a lot of other ones, but those are more niche players. But the ones I just mentioned are kind of our core products, at least with my team. Does your agency have the option of a lower commission to the agent in lieu of no chargebacks within the same low commission contract? No. But here's the reason I don't do that, Mercer, because if you turn out to be a killer at this, a pro, your contract that stipulates this lower offset, no chargeback stuff, you're probably not going to maximize your commission. Okay? This is the catch with these kind of contracts that prevent you from chargebacks or prevent you as a recruiter from chargebacks. There's no such thing as a free lunch. You're exchanging a risk for a guarantee, and that guarantee is going to cost you something. The question is it worth it or not? And for me, I've always lived and died in a straight commission environment, and I'm always susceptible to any kind of, convoluted plan to offset some of reality that you have to deal with because of your bad decisions. And I think it costs you in the long run. So any of those contracts, if you turn out to be a stud and you're really killing it, it's going to hurt you in the long run. The only people it ends up benefiting are kind of the medium-ish to lowish performers that don't do very well. But a lot of those people get fleshed out anyway because they cost the company money. So I don't really like it. Those aren't really, I don't support it. I don't like it. I wouldn't recommend it. If you do it, the only way I would do it is if it was like a temporary arrangement to get up and running, get some cash flow in, if I had free leads or something, and then going solo from there. Hey guys, remember, for you guys who are on here, please like this video. If you're listening to me right now, this will help boost the exposure of this live stream just to get other agents aware who are, between appointments, watch something that's useful. So please hit the like button if you don't mind, if you haven't already. How many times should you reach out to a new unknown prospect and by what method? Steve, in short, you should prospect them until they die or say no, okay? Now, in reality, we measure the value of a prospect differently based off of how soon or fresh the lead is. What I call a lead after the 30th time, is it more valuable to call it the 31st time, or the new lead that just came out, is it more valuable to call that? Well, I think all of us agree calling that fresh lead is better because they're probably more top of mind, and the person who's ignored my calls 30 times probably is going to ignore the 31st. So there's a weighted average there, but you should spend most of your time thinking about door knocking, appointment setting, calling fresh leads. And the age leads fill in when you're low on fresh leads is ultimately what I think it works out to be. Let's see what else. Can we talk smack about the Symmetry Financial Group? Feel free to in the comments to talk all the smack you want to. They are what they are. I try to keep a level head above direct attacks against competition. I don't think it's necessary. And some people like the multi-level marketing side of the business, and I'm actually really thankful that these big organizations who are out there mass recruiting do what they do, because they bring a lot of you into this business, and if it wasn't for them, albeit I don't like their ways they do the business, you wouldn't be exposed to possibly me, or exposed to better ways to do the business. So in a way, it's like I'm kind of thankful for it, even though I don't agree with it. Makes sense? Do you sell property and casualty insurance? Hey Vivek, not really, no, I don't. We were looking at some kind of joint venture deal to possibly cross-sell it to prospects as a part of my agency, but I not really, no, I haven't. Okay. Do you have contracts with Aetna, CVS, Mlm, SSL, Senior Security Life, Trinity Family Benefit, SNL? Yes, Tom, I got them all. Go to daviddufour.com/contact to reach out to me. Hey Joyce, I have a policy through Permerca. I mentioned this to a coworker who works at the agency. She started texting me about for an information session. It stopped when I told her I'm more interested in final expense. So that's good, she stopped. It's amazing they actually stop. Usually they just keep going and going and going. Already contacted my senator in Kansas. Thank you, Anthony. Appreciate it. Totally in the whatever camp. Unzipped for objections. How do we handle telesales calls when the prospect pushes to move on, skip rapport building, or just get to the point? Do I qualify or not? Even after be glad to answer your questions. Well, some of those people you just can't lead. You can't lead a horse to water and make it drink. You certainly want to rebuttal those knee-jerk objections. Can you just tell me what the price is? Hey, I'll be happy. I absolutely will do it, but I have to ask you some questions first. I just don't know what I can qualify you for. Then you get back to your script wherever you are, okay? Sometimes moving from rapport building, if you get some pushback into pre-qualifying, is a good way, at least how we teach it. The structure of our presentation is we build rapport to establish a relationship. We pre-qualify. We ask really good open-ended questions to uncover and create urgency, awareness, get the client to picture the hearse backed up against the front porch, as we like to say, to figure out what it is that they want and to qualify them so we know they're worth our time to spend with. So sometimes I'll move to that phase first, but you absolutely don't want to go pitch the product until you know why they're even calling. What is it that they want to accomplish? What do they have currently for insurance? Why are they calling? Why is this important to them? What if they die tomorrow? What happens? Are they protected? These are the things we need to ask, and if the person's not compliant, they're probably not going to buy, and don't waste your time. Just hang up the phone and find a real prospect, ultimately, is what I would say. What is a realistic first-year income for a new agent working with their group after expenses? You know what? Here's how I like to caveat it. If you're a top 20% agent, what's possible? A top 20% agent, to me, is writing about $10,000 to $15,000 a month. It just depends. And after you look at all the expenses, I'm not going to do all the math for you. There's some videos. If you look for the final expense by the numbers video I did, put David DeFord final expense numbers, you'll see it. Essentially what you're looking at is a 3-to-1 to 4-to-1 return on investment minimum floor. Okay. So in other words, if you have a money machine in front of you, and you put $1 in, and it spits out $3 or $4 every time you put $1 in, how many times did he play that game? Forever, right? Well, that's how final expense should be, okay? So we're playing the money game where we put $1,000 in the leads and it spits out $3,000 to $4,000 in commission. That's kind of what it ultimately comes down to. But to answer your question, I think it's possible if an agent starts in their first year near the beginning of the year that they should be able to net an income $50,000 to $75,000 is possible. By the first full year, so from January 1st to December 31st, I think an agent should be making 6 figures, okay? This business, I'd be hard-pressed to recommend if you're not making 6 figures. It's a lot of turmoil. It's up and down. It's an emotional roller coaster, okay? You're dealing with people. You should be paid well for it. So for me, final expense, it should be a 6-figure business by the second year or the first full year in the business, in my opinion. Thanks for liking the video, guys. I really appreciate it. That boosted up a good bit. Thank you very much. Okay. Joyce, at what point do newly licensed agents obtain E&O? Right away. Most of the carriers, at least with me, have E&O requirements. Just go ahead and pick it up. It's usually like $460 down for the year or a $140 down and $35 a month or something. Nathan, would you rather steer a new agent towards face-to-face or telesales? Here's how I take the face-to-face telesales thing. If you have a gut instinct and a desire clearly for telesales, do it. If you have a gut instinct desire, clearly, for face-to-face, do it. If you're on the fence and you don't know if you see the pros and cons of both face-to-face and telesales, do face-to-face. Here's why. I truly think that face-to-face is an easier process to get used to than telesales. With telesales, it's the same people, pretty much close to the same script, different leads, of course, but the interaction with the client, because you lack the physical presence that you get face-to-face, means you've got to be deeper with asking rapport-building questions, deeper asking pre-qualification questions, and you've got to be more apt to rebuttal objections enthusiastically at the end. There's just more problems generally in the sales presentation over the phone than there is face-to-face. That's been my experience training agents for the past year in telesales, having agents sell telesales for me for a couple of years now. It's just one of those things where there's great opportunity, but if somebody's on the fence, there's just something about being in somebody's house, physically present with them, that convinces more people to take action, to be more at ease with you and trust you. So I'm still kind of in the feeling that face-to-face is where somebody on the fence should go. But if you got a bias either way, follow your instincts. Usually your gut is always right. Hey Dave, what do you think about the majority of the 92% that wash out of this industry? What do you think a majority of the 92% that wash out of this industry wash out for them? Yes, they do, just because the majority of the people who are going into this go into an MLM. But the other flip side of this is that, I mean, the other part of this is a lot of people don't survive because this is a business. It's not just a job, it's a business. You got to buy leads, you got to run appointments. Nobody's going to babysit you to go do your job, okay? To do your business. And so with any business in America, the failure rate's pretty much the same. It's like 4 out of 5, maybe 9 out of 10 businesses in the first 5 years fail. So this kind of is similar in that regards. So I think it has a lot to do with just, it's a different animal running a business than having a job. And people don't really understand what it's like till they do it, or unless they've had family or friends and they've known all the sacrifices they've made and the time commitment required. So that certainly plays a part in it. Hey, Gerda, do you have contracts with Sagicor? Trying to figure out whether term policies are so much cheaper with the rest of America. Yeah, I mean, America is overpriced, really it is. It's the Lincoln Heritage of mortgage protection. Moo, JH, Foresters I think is okay. Sagicor, the problem with Sagicor is some of their underwriting's kind of goofy. Like they run a DMV and they'll rate up if you've got like, and they run like credit too, I think. It's just not, the prices you see are illusory. There's more to it, and I don't know. Not a lot of people write Sagicor at the end of the day. Hey Justin, how much cash should I start with going into, sorry, I lost my place. Going into the insurance industry. Well, I can only speak for final expense and Medicare. $2,000-ish for part-time final expense, face-to-face over the phone. $3,000-ish full-time face-to-face or over the phone. Medicare about the same. And the thing is, you should be making sales in your first week to 2 weeks. And if you're not making any sales in your first week or 2 weeks, at least with me, I tell my agents, look, it's probably not for you. If you've earnestly tried, you followed the script, you've done everything like you're supposed to, don't throw your good money after a bad idea that maybe it's not right for you. So that's kind of the flip side, is you're not going to be in a position where you're dumping a lot of your money, okay, and waiting 6 months before it might pan out. Let's see here. Hey Tamara, David is one of the most kind and ethical business leaders. Thank you. Christina, I really appreciate what you do. I appreciate it. Appreciate you appreciating me. Hey Steri, how you doing? DK, what do you need to bring with you to face-to-face presentation? Yeah, brochures, disclosure forms, backup paper forms if you're out in the boonies and you don't have internet connection. You need paper apps. Mobile hotspot so you can do your electronic applications. Lunch, don't stop for lunch. Don't waste time sitting at McDonald's eating food. Pack your lunch with you, it's healthier anyway. That's about it. Briefcase, the typical stuff. When you're starting out, what do you give your upline is just payment? Okay, when you are just starting out, what you give up to your upline is just payment for mentoring and back office systems. Don't sweat it yet, essentially. Mark, can you talk about price per lead of direct mail, Facebook, telemarketing, direct mail, direct transfer? Sure, briefly. Direct mail leads are going to be, depending on where you are in the country, $25 to $35 a piece, roughly. I like leads that say life insurance ideally. Sometimes you can't get them in certain states with low response, so you use something that says like final expense program, which is fine. You can get sales from that. Facebook leads, the only Facebook leads I like for face-to-face are GameTimeLeads.com. I don't like any of the other vendors out there. It's the quality of Facebook to me has gone down. I've talked with other agents that have kind of said the same thing. And the prices have gone up so far that I would just rather a final expense agent go to direct mail. And you're going to spend that much per lead if you factor in all the drive time, because there's a lot of space between your Facebook leads. And when you factor in drive time, lost opportunity cost behind the wheel, windshield time, travel time, the drive to these appointments, you might as well have just spent a little bit more money on direct mail, frankly. I don't like Facebook leads for telesales. The quality of the leads are terrible. The price point's too high. The only way I would do Facebook leads for telesales is if I was doing it myself. If you guys are interested in a course, I have a gentleman that works with me named Bobby. I've talked about him, I think, in the video yesterday or the day before, about Facebook marketing. He's got a course that's fairly priced, and you can generate themselves. But the problem with generating leads yourself on Facebook is it is a process for a lot of people that is really hard to do. And it's a constant headache. You got to tweak the thing. It's not set it and forget it. I do not recommend telemarketing leads. Telemarketing is attracting a level of litigation now I've never seen before. I had an agent who, after a year on calling a telemarketing lead, told me he was being pursued by a person he called, and he bought the lead legitimately. The provider called the lead, who was on the do not call list, and the problem is a lot of these call centers are in Pakistan, Philippines, offshore, and you can't sue them. They're just not going to pay it. They're kind of halfway across the world, and so some of them end up shaking down the agent, $3, $4, $5 grand for each TCPA violation. There's people who make their whole living on this concept. So I do not endorse telemarketing leads for final expense anymore. I think it's a fool's errand. It's especially buying them. I guess if you had a scrubbed list and you can make sure it was and really micromanage the process, it would be fine. But buying leads, just don't think it's safe. And then last but not least, we like live transfers. We've got a really good TV lead vendor. They're very expensive, but they return average case size 1,070 AP. Average conversion rate's 1 out of 4. The leads are $69 a lead, which is crazy. They started off in the 50s, but we've had a lot of these big call centers bid up the prices higher. So when you have a limited supply and you have large demand, the supplier can raise the prices, which is kind of what we're experiencing. They're still priced well enough. If they get much higher, it's going to be starting to be questionable. But they're very good leads. I like them a lot. And in my organization, we have another live transfer vendor that's $40 to $50, maybe $55 a lead that we use too. We only take live transfers for telesales. We don't do outbounds. I don't recruit agents to do Facebook or telemarketing leads like I suggested earlier. So that's kind of a quick rundown of how these leads work. All right. I'm sure those are said fluff. Should you get a separate phone for your business or something? Yeah, Grasshopper, Google Voice, something like that. I always did that so clients could call me, but they didn't have instant access to me. There was kind of like a firewall there, right? That would be fine. Google Voice. John Cunningham. For newly licensed agents, which of senior market targeted products do you recommend starting with and subsequently cross-selling? I like final expense. That's my shtick. I think the most obvious cross-sell is Medicare Advantage. You should be looking to do that within 6 to 12 months. There's a lot of you out there that are working for some of these final expense MLMs. You guys don't even know what you're missing. You're missing out on a ton of Medicare opportunities. And the problem with final expense over the long haul is to make money, you've got to work. If you're smart, you're going to start looking at ways to expand your income streams. And one of the best ways to do that is to start getting involved with passive income streams. And 80% of your final expense clients are Medicare already, and a lot of them need help with their Medicare. Medicare Advantage replacements pay $270 a year for life. And if you write a couple hundred a year, in 5 years you could be making $270,000 with 1,000 clients on the books. Yeah, people die, people switch, but you write more business, you get referrals, so it kind of feeds itself. but it's passive income, and it doesn't require much service work at all. And in conjunction with your first-year driven commission sales for final expense, it's a powerful combination. And again, the problem is everybody at one point experiences burnout. And this business just gets fun when you make money and you don't actually have to go like work and see people. And that's something that's within everybody's reach here on the phone or on the call here, and it's well worth your time to explore, especially once you're established in final expense. Good question, John. Justin, if I'm a brand new agent, should I work for you? No, most of my agents are brand new. If you can find out more about how my agency works at davidduford.com/FAQ. I love training new agents. That's really most of who I train. Of course, I train experienced agents as well, or help experienced agents who may be in a bad situation with an agency get a better experience. So it's definitely something that's open to anybody that finds what I do of value to them. Mark, what is the difference in expectations of final expense versus Medicare sales, and also face-to-face versus phone? Medicare, you're not going to make great money per se in the first year or two. Final expense, you'll make good money, but then, you got to keep working. I mean, the sales system itself is similar. It's a one-call close. It's the same kind of people. You're going to close more face-to-face than you will over the phone as a rule. That's generally the case if all else is equal, kind of like mentioned earlier. Now, we have a program in our Medicare Advantage program where if you're a very productive agent, we will subsidize in part or all of your leads, where you can actually receive free Medicare Advantage leads if you're a top producer. And even if you're not, you kind of get close to being a top producer, we'll still cut off a lot of your expenses without changing your commissions, without altering anything with how your comp is set up or anything else like that. So we do that for our agents because there's a lot of bonus money in the Medicare Advantage world, and we try to reward our most productive agents with that kind of offset so they get a lot of leads without a lot of out-of-pocket expense. The natives are restless. Is it really necessary to hit up friends and family, sell insurance? No. Yeah, a lot of the ones do. Again, a lot of the big MLM insurance agencies, not all of them do, but they want you talking to friends and family, and they kind of like parasitically take your network and then sell. There's organizations, guys, that part of your onboarding process, you have to give them your family, and then they sell them and you don't get compensated. You just learn from them, which is crazy. So, but yeah, we, in my agency, for example, we just do purchase leads. I don't endorse working your friends and family. It's fine if you do, if you want to, but most people don't, and so I don't really push it. No, you just need to invest in leads. Is there a way to sell family without being pushy? Sure. You can always do some script like, hey, I just want to let you know, I am in insurance, and I'd love to show you the kind of work that I'm doing. There's no pressure or anything. I just want to practice my presentation if that's okay with you, and kind of show you what we're doing. And there's no obligation or anything to buy from me. I would just be very apologetic and don't worry, and really mean that. Don't push on them, okay, just to get in the door. Don't ruin a relationship for your greed, all right? And what you'll find is if you talk to your family, they want to see you succeed. They're likely to sit with you. You'll get some practice in, and you'll actually see some people who want to buy insurance from you because they actually need it, never got around to it. So I don't think the pressure approach is the right way to handle it. I wanted to start selling to strangers before I even tackled. Oh man, there's so many comments here I need to get to. What time is it? 5:50. Jesus Christ. Time flies. Wanted to start selling to strangers before I even tackled family or friends. Now they know that I'm wanting to sell insurance or ask about it. Yeah, perfect. Do you keep leads that previously denied the request for more information, or do you tear them up and move on? Buying leads will always be consistent. Yeah, I never called on them again. I just tear them up. If they wanted to reconsider, they'll send in another lead. That was kind of my take on it. I don't have that much time. I gotta go talk to real prospects that actually are interested, right? You can lose a lot of sleep and get frustrated trying to chase people who never convert. I want to part-time what programs can I focus on selling? Bad match, I would do final expense. That's probably the easiest way to get into this business. You could do mortgage protection. Final expense is big with me. How do you mentor support newbies who join your agency? In short, John, 12 hours of live training a week, call reviews, mock presentations, appointment setting, door knocking training, carrier training, multiple Q&A calls, objection handling training, a whole suite of self-study materials, and the ability to do one-on-one trainings with me, in short. So training is very serious at the Ford Insurance Group. And if you are serious about being successful, you need to be serious about becoming successful yourself, and that means training and preparing and having somebody who's been where you want to be, which is kind of where I was. So in a nutshell, learn more at davidduford.com/FAQ. I'm working 60 hours a week. I run Facebook and DM for MedSup only. Hey, Randy. 1,000 and each started last month, so far I closed 2. How many leads did you get? Remind me here. I'll answer it later. What's your opinion on captive telesales that pay hourly plus commission? Great way to learn the business. As soon as I got good at it, I'd leave and go get great commission, pay for my own health insurance, and probably quadruple my income. That's what I would do. How, Joyce, people who left the business because they didn't have enough cash, was it because they weren't making enough money to designate funds to invest in leads? Yeah, probably it's a combination of things. I think Joyce really, they didn't like their agency, the commission wasn't good, they weren't making enough money, they didn't have enough money, so it's probably a whole host of issues. I don't think it's like one thing for most people, it's probably a host of all of it, and the way that was answered, it's like one thing in particular they're thinking, I think. How do you select people for direct mail? We market to 0 to 50 to 85-year-olds, 0 to 50,000 income filter. That's pretty much the standard income filter for final expense. Sometimes you can add little filters on top of that, maybe 60 to 80, or a higher income, 15 to 50,000, let's say. But that's generally what we do with direct mail response rates. Ronald, what do you think? What do you think about part-time insurance sales? I love it. I did it twice. First time after I got into the business, the second time after I failed the business the first time. And both times it led me into full-time work. So I know how to do it. It's successful. I have agents who do it with me. And then how to be successful? Treat it like a business. Don't be casual. Don't make it a hobby. Be consistent with it. Okay? Have you heard of Select Quote? Yes. Hey, Deja. I'm wanting to join a company first. Free leads. Yep. And then move on and do it by myself. Yeah, Select Quote, Assurance IQ is another one that's worth looking at. North Star as well. There's probably some other ones, but those are the ones I would look at first. Gerda, seen you do a lot of reviews on IMOs except for Family First. Can you review later on? They're pretty legit, similar to your agency. Email me and I will tell you what I think. There is a reason I don't. Let me leave it at that. Also, what is MLM? Just joined the live stream and very new to researching this business. Multi-level marketing. So it's just, everybody knows multi-level marketing, right? Herbalife, Mary Kay. This idea that, it's not just selling product, it's recruiting people. The problem in this business, it's a serious business, or at least it should be. And if you're serious, you wouldn't recruit people because you can't train them, you're brand new. And the problem at large is that's what most of these organizations do. It benefits the top of the pyramid and very little the bottom. And so there's a lot of churn, a lot of turnover. And I think it gives this business a bad name since there's just so much that cycle out of it. So that when we say MLM, that's what we mean. What CRM do your agents use? They use Agent Autopilot, VanillaSoft, Radius, one-page CRM. There's a lot of different options depending on if you're telesales or face-to-face. There's more good options than ever before. There's really too many options, to be honest with you. Hey, Jose, having more success with changing MedSup and using savings for final expense policy. Are there scripts available to do this as well? Get with me, Jose, on that. I should have a MedSup script. Email me. I'll send it to you. Plush, hi, David. I attempted to meet with you on today's Q&A, but the Zoom meeting at 10 a.m. It stated the host already meeting. Yeah, you clicked the wrong link, Plush. You clicked the Monday link. There's a Monday link, and it says, right by it says, scroll down to the Wednesday link. That's the problem. So a lot of people get that screwed up, so no worries. Glad to see this now. Facebook leads or thoughts. I like Facebook leads just for face-to-face, not for telesales. Not at all, really. Unless you're generating them yourself. Phaser, or Phase Me. What lead company should I use for Medicare Advantage? Lead Concepts, Need a Lead. I talk to them. They're pretty good people. We have an internal lead source for Medicare Advantage that's pretty good. Fixed pricing, $25 per direct mail lead, for example. And then, of course, we subsidize the lead cost. How do I get my license? Where do I go, please? Ivy, research or Google search, get my insurance license in your state. So, Tennessee. And then you should get a step-by-step guide to do it. What would a normal week be like for a final expense agent? If you're face-to-face, you would Get up at 9 or get up at 8, start calling at 9 for appointments on Tuesday. Run of a bunch of appointments on Tuesday, repeat Wednesday for Thursday, and then run door knocked appointments Friday. If you're not calling, you would just work all day, 9 to 8, several days a week, and then 9 to 4 other days, door knocking and trying to get indoors and running appointments. Telesales is, if you're doing outbound telesales, you're going to be on the phone 10 hours a day, dialing and dialing and dialing until people pick up. If you're doing inbound, you're going to sit around, wait maybe on the part-time 4 hours a day, full-time 8 hours a day, part-time get a couple of calls, full-time maybe 4, maybe 5 calls, and then pitch what you got, essentially. And that's how it works in a nutshell. Very rinse and repeat. It's not very complex. It's just run presentations, try to sell policies. Hey John, what do you get, how do you get a return on your investment of training time? Yeah, I get my interest financially. I run I don't want to say a complex business. I have a ton of different sources of income in this business. I did a video in December on streams of income. But for my agency, I make overrides just on sales. I don't make money on selling the agent leads. I don't make money to agents selling them required boot camps because the training's free, and I don't make like a membership or boot camp recurring subscription fee because I don't do it. The only way I make money on my agents is when they make a sale, and I think that's important because it keeps us honest. There are organizations, a lot of these MLMs, they make money on you, selling you leads and books and courses and stuff before you even make the first sale. So they're monetizing you. You're as much the prospect as your insurance lead is. And I think that just leads to a dissolution, a confusion of what the priorities are. I need to succeed only when my agent succeeds, frankly. But my business doesn't just revolve around that. I sell courses, I sell books, I do advertising on YouTube, as you guys have seen these ads. I do other things that I don't even remember. I do affiliate deals like Agent Autopilot. I'm just in a cool position where I can diversify my income. But when it comes to my agents, I don't make money until they make a sale. Let's see here. Good question. Appreciate it. Do you use or recommend software for managing sales funnel processing form autoresponders? Agent Autopilot would be probably the closest thing to that, John. It's not necessary though. Just go out and talk to people and sell them. This is an old-fashioned business for now. So, and I don't see it really changing that much. Focus on the fundamentals. You don't need to do too much of that complicated stuff. Is there a database you use to find the leads for direct mail for FE? Yeah, the lead house takes care of that. They pull a list, they drop mail, and the returns come back, and then they send them to you. Juan, hey Juan, I just received my life and health insurance license. I know I want to be in insurance. I've done other types of cold selling. I don't have a big amount of money to start. Where do you recommend I start? If you don't have money to buy leads, Assurance IQ, Select Quote, North Star, they'll train you. They provide the leads for free, albeit at a low commission, but you learn the business and you pay the dues, but ultimately you can go solo later. Leonardo, what do your agents wear when dealing with prospects? Used to work with Knights of Columbus and they forced us to wear jackets and ties, but it puts people off when you're wearing a jacket. Business casual, polo, khakis. I got eventually comfortable enough to wear jeans. Then I started wearing shorts and a polo. Our clients in Final Expense don't care. Maybe they do in more serious products, more, I don't know, middle class or something, maybe. But I think business casual is always safe. So khakis and polo. First Brethren, is there something I could do part-time in retirement? Sure, Final Expense. Best company to start with in telesales, this guy right here. davidduford.com/FAQ if you want to see how we do it. What dialer CRM do you recommend for FE telesales? I like Agent Autopilot. That's probably a good overall one to use. You could use Radius, Prospect Boss. It doesn't really matter. One of those three. You're welcome, Charlie. What's your opinion on universal basic income? What's UBI, Kelly? Qualify that for me so I can give you the appropriate answer. I logged on to Wednesday's call today, but I thought it was a 12 p.m. Pacific one. But no, it was there. Where are you getting that? I don't know where you're... what schedule are you getting there? That wasn't in the email. We do let me just tell you, Gary, our training next week for my agents, it's going to be 9 a.m. to 10:30, okay, Eastern, and then another block from 1 to 2:30, okay? So you'll start getting emails to you about the times. If you go to the training website, there's a daily schedule section. Just go there and you'll see the times as well. While I'm not old enough to sell final expense, is there anything I can do to get ready for myself in the business? Yeah. Study sales. I would sell stuff right now if I were you. We've been so busy. We've got so much going on in the family, but I'm going to be taking my son out here and we're going to do some hustling, some garage sales and do some flips. You know, I've got a bunch of kids. I want to teach them some of the craft I've learned. My father never was around to teach me this stuff, although he was very good at this. He divorced my mom when I was very young and I didn't know him very well. And I'm going to teach my kids. I'm already teaching them about money, saving, being prudent with their money, putting back money, not spending it all. And one of the components of what I'm going to be teaching them, of course, is investment. Taking your money in the simplest terms and buying something low and then selling it high. And garage sales are great places to go. You can go there, people are trying to get rid of their crap. Most of those people aren't sophisticated enough to understand sales, so you can work them down on price. Then you can go on eBay and other mediums to sell for a higher price. And there's a lot of little knickknacks and stuff you can sell. Gary V had a really good video on it. If you want to go check out this stuff, Gary Vaynerchuk. Trash Talk is the title of the stuff. It's really good. But I want to get my kids, my son especially, who's the oldest, you know, interested in business. And I want to teach him some skills so that when he's a man one day, he'll be self-sufficient, so I don't have to pay for his crap. And, you know, maybe pick up a few things that I've learned along the way. So anyways, that's kind of what I would think you should do. Just get doing something in sales, man. You know, whatever you're passionate about, the garage sale stuff is a good place to start going out. It's April or May. What is it? March? Whatever it is. It's spring. People are going to start, you know, selling the crap. Go start hustling, you know, and start getting some experience selling, buying, communicating, working people. This will all come in handy for something like this. How much are your overrides on agent sales? As low as 5%, as high as 40%, John. It depends on if you're an agency, an agent experience, a new agent. It just depends on the carrier. Some have lower overrides, some have higher overrides. Hey, I just started a group life insurance sales. What are some ways to better connect with the prospect and asking open-ended questions that keep the prospect talking? Garrett, in the interest of time, I'm going to have to wrap this up here in a minute. If you do a Google search for top questions to ask insurance prospects, I got an article that should rank #1, and there's a ton of good questions there you could possibly ask. So do a Google search for that and see if that helps. Captive versus non-captive, pros and cons. Captive just has a lot more micromanagement and encouragement, and a lot of people do well on that. If you're somewhat of an independent-minded person, you don't need the rah-rah. Non-captive's probably better, plus the commission's better too. But there's a lot of independence there, and for some people, too much hands-off is a bad thing. Your thoughts on Family First? My thoughts on Family First is they've done an incredible job. I mean, they are the juggernaut of final expense. The amount of people they've recruited into this business is just incredible. I remember when they were getting started in 2015 and 16. They've just been dynamite. They were doing more, seemingly, and I don't pay too much attention to them, but they seemingly did more mortgage protection than they got into final expense, and that's when things really took off. They've just done an incredible job. No doubt about it. What I would suggest that you would do, and this is not specific to Family First, this is specific to any organization you look at the person who's recruiting you. Do they have experience? Do they know what they're talking about? Are they actually going to spend time training you? Because there's a lot of people who get into recruiting, but they don't have the first idea how to support or train an agent, so you'll end up getting the bad end of the deal. The other thing you need to do is compare commissions. What are the major products? What are their commissions? But what are the other products that you'll use too, and what are those commissions? Sometimes organizations will push a higher commission for certain products that may or may not be the best options, and you'll find that the other ones pay a lot less. So do a little more due diligence. Ask yourself that. There are definitely worse organizations than Family First. I can think of several that pay way less, that are very heavily more recruitment oriented, and aren't really production oriented. There's some really good producers at FFL, so on the par, I think they've done a great job. Brought a lot of people into business. Definitely thankful for that. Universal benefits marketing firm. Oh, Lincoln Heritage. Lincoln Heritage, captive company, low commission, easy product to learn. If you're that kind of person, captive, great. I would recommend Google searching Lincoln Heritage agent review, David Duford. I wrote an article reviewing Lincoln. If you want some more insight, go there. And then, of course, put Lincoln Heritage into YouTube to get a more thorough, commentary from that too as well. When selling face-to-face, how many states do you recommend? Just home state is plenty, Nathan. Thanks for the live stream. Sure thing. All right, you passed. Great. Vergus, with door knocking in Los Angeles without a mask, 6 feet distance, yeah, I'd go ahead and do the distance thing. You should be anyway. Hang a mask from your ear. Put it on if you want to. Just respect people's social distance concerns. Don't start off the conversation wrong. Even if they don't believe it as much as somebody else does, they're not going to react negatively. People react negatively if they're up in your face without a mask. So just, use common sense. Do that stuff. That's not going to hurt you. Yeah, you're welcome, John. You got it. You got it, Mark. You are welcome. And guys, that is it for me. I hope you enjoyed this live training. I went from Chattanooga, Justin, to Titusville, Florida, which is east of Orlando. And one day I drove 20 hours. But I made $5,000, so it was worth it before we could do telesales many years ago. So thanks, guys, for being here. Again, if you are interested in my agency, go to davidduford.com/FAQ. Also, if you're newer to this business, I've got a really cool, free, no opt-in requirement, new agent resource guide. Go to davidduford.com, look up in the menu, you'll see resource guide. Lots of information on the different niches of sales and insurance sales, lead systems, possible organizations you could join or consider joining, sales training information, lots of good stuff, all free. My way of trying to help you new guys out with some good research sources. So thanks again. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you next month and in upcoming videos. Bye, guys.